The party was great success and great disaster. I had no idea what I was doing. I tried to do everything from market to gate to parking to sound to stage, and so that predictably was not very smart. Didn't have nearly big enough staff. Way too big of a lineup for the first party, so lost huge amounts of money. But I remember thinking that final afternoon, walking from the path, from the dance floor to the campground, being proud that we created something that was pretty special. I knew it was kind of a fuck up in some ways, but I knew that there was something very special that we captured, and that if we could do it again and again and again, we would learn how to really do it. But that I found that the core idea was correct, the core concept was right. Then I just needed one more chance to do it correctly. The concept was there. I think it was difficult to use Watatoge again.
Right.
I think it's very far. Nagano is really far from Tokyo. We wanted to find someplace a little bit easier to get to from Tokyo. And so then we found Alamata.
How did you find the
Where did we find Alamata? Good question. I think I got camp booked. I was just looking through the book and finding places that were not close to towns. We do big sounds. And then we traveled up there and met not the owner, but the manager of the campground. And he was very interested in doing it. And so we just slowly worked together and did it 2 years? 3? 2, yeah. Nalamata is nice, but it's also a little boring because it's one flat, straight area. There's no trees. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to walk around. It's just dance floor. So I find it was an interesting place, but I thought it was kind of limited. Kuwaba was much more dynamic. You go up a long hill, you go to the top. There's camping cut into the mountain, like a little terrace. Kuwaba was also much more beautiful. Really beautiful trees. And the dance floor was perfect. Small dance floor, right on top of the mountain. It brought everybody together. It's very intimate. Probably the biggest problem with Kuwaba is that it was very small. So everyone was acting together. Camping space was not enough. People camping on roads like this. Christ, I don't know how they slept. It was just way too tight. Way too tight. So now with our newest venue, Naiba, for me it's the most appropriate. It's the one I like the most. In that you have a big dance floor, so plenty of space. You also have several different camping grounds, so lots of space for camping. You can also walk through the woods, go through the forest, walk by the stream, or just walk out of the party completely. So for me, it's a nice balance of all the elements.
いろんな場所があってそれぞれいい場所が結構川場、5年間一番長くやってすごく雰囲気とか木に囲まれた感じすごい良かった、やっぱり1500人も入ってパンパンで出すか言ってキャンプとかいろんなところでしたそういうのもあって、
One big difference, I thought that Kuwaba, since it was so small, I mean, very intense focus on the music. You couldn't escape. Even in the camp, you could hear the music the whole time. So it's a little bit claustrophobic. It made for a very powerful experience, but there was no breathing room. You couldn't really escape. Naiba is much more relaxed because you can go far away from the music and campground. So what I thought was nice about Naiba, the Labyrinth in Naiba last year, was that I thought it had a bit more of a sense of community in that there was people could relax, they could camp, they could do the barbecue, they could do whatever they want. So it felt more like we created a little small village in that space for for a long weekend for 4 days, and then the village disappeared. So that was the first time I really had that kind of community village feeling from the event. So when we first approached Naiva and we decided to do the event there, we assumed it was going to be the same format as previous years. Go all night, turn the music off in the afternoon, do it again all night. And then very close to the event itself, maybe just a month before the party, they told us there's regulations that you couldn't do music all night in that area. So at first we were a bit surprised. We were like, now what are we going to do? Because going all night, to me, was a very central part of the concept, going from from sunset all the way to the night, and sunrise in the morning, and then morning music, and down again. And then I think after I thought about it, I realized, we can make this work with a new concept. And by essentially stopping music at night, and we still have lots of music at night. We go to like 2 o'clock, so you still have maybe 5-6 hours of music at night. We just don't push it all the way through to the morning. By stopping at night, you create a much more natural atmosphere, a much more natural rhythm to the event. You wake up in the morning. This year you'll wake up to downbeat, ambient, dub, really soft music, and wake up the campground, then slowly build up for the day, some more groovy and housey. Get to night, darker and techno and dubstep and really powerful music, and then stop again maybe 2 o'clock at night or so. So what I found last year is that created just a much more natural, friendly atmosphere, because if you go all night, it really pushes the body a lot. It pushes people unnaturally because they're so excited, they want to stay up, they want to dance all night, and the next day people look destroyed. Mornings are sometimes not so pretty. This way you can wake up, have some coffee, hear some like groovy, dubby stuff in the background, slowly get into the party, have some beers, go crazy, go all the way through to like 2 o'clock, and by the time we're done, you're pretty much dead at 2 in the morning. You're wiped out, you fall asleep easily, and you wake up the next morning again to some atmosphere. And also, I didn't think about it, but one big difference it made is that when you go all night, the party kind of splits in half. You have half the crowd, a younger crowd, like to be all night and all ravey and going crazy. And then the older crowd will tend to wake up in the morning when the more groovy sun comes out. So it's kind of like almost two parties. So nobody could see all the music. If you go all night, you'll miss somebody playing in the afternoon, for example. But if you go from sunrise to like 2 a.m., you can see everybody. So basically last year I saw every single act almost. And then most of the artists also, they saw everyone. Whereas always before they had to choose, I'm going to do night, I'm going to do day. Now it brings people together more, I think.
All crowd feel Labyrinth,
right.
all Labyrinth.
Yeah, they're all part of the same cycle.